Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Cameron, and then Kieran is also joining me.
Hey, guys.
We are with the Krazy Glue team. We have a very exciting craft. We're going to be doing DIY holiday wreaths featuring Krazy Glue. So today we're going to be using our Krazy Glue all-purpose. It dries in 10 seconds. It has a really strong bond. So this is really great product to use when you have a bunch of different pieces all wanting to stick together. So we'll jump right in, but a few things that we have on the table. So we obviously have our wreaths from Michael's. We have a bunch of different pieces here, like little sticks and sprigs and twigs. Lots of glitter. Kieran and I are big fans of glitter.
Covered in glitter right now.
Yes. Some pine cones. And then also one of the tips too is to make sure that you get a variety of size of balls. So you'll see we have little small ornaments, some medium, and then also some large ones. So we're just going to take you through step by step how we would arrange it. But one thing that we always like to tell people is that even if you start with the same ingredients, everybody's craft turns out totally different. And that's what's so fun about DIY and making it yourself. So with that, we can switch views. So there's a little zoom in of the craft, and then we'll just jump in. Okay, so to get started, what we like to do first is fluff your wreath. We've done a little pre-fluff. But really what you want to do is just make sure that your sprigs are kind of straight. A lot of times when you take it out of the box or off the shelf, it's really bent since they are, mass produced around this holiday season. So just go through and straighten it. It's also personal preference if you want to have them fanned out. I like to do like a little swirl in the inside and then fan them out just so that all the wiring is covered. But also if it's not perfect, don't even worry because we're maximalists today and we're going to cover it.
You can just fluff to your desire.
Exactly. Okay, so once you're fluffed, what we like to do is start with your bigger pieces first. So that would be big flowers like this, big bows, big ornaments. And how you're going to start is just by placing. So, and then once we get our base, we'll go into the glue mode. So we'll start placing and then we'll go from there. So I am placing like a big bow. Kieran, what are you starting with?
I'm starting with this disco ball little king ornament and then this big flower as kind of like the anchors, I would say, for what mine is going to be.
Awesome. Yeah, I love those disco balls. Those come in a 4-pack, and when I saw them, love that disco balls are so in. We had to have those. And one other tip, similar to how you would decorate a Christmas tree or how you would arrange flowers, you always want to look at threes. So you want to make sure that everything is balanced. So right now I have something heavy in the top corner. So I'm going to want something heavy in the lower corner and then something to break it up. So as you're building something, always make sure that you're kind of looking at things through a triangle so you can really achieve balance, even if you don't have a natural eye or things like that. Just following a few little tips like the rule of thirds, some simple color theory, that always helps to achieve a really beautiful look. With the color theory, obviously you can see too, we've picked a pretty nice neutral palette. Obviously this can be achieved with any color palette, but we're sticking with the silver, gold, and creams today.
I also really like these, putting it down here, these flowers because they're wired, a lot of the things that we have on our list. And so that's going to kind of give you some wiggle room to like play with things and get it in a nice place before you glue it down.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have some of those bigger balls.
Yeah.
And we're going to be passing things around this table like it's family style dinner. So you guys ignore the clattering, but
I like to share.
Yeah, we're sharers over here. So where are you at? I feel good on my heavy pieces.
I think I'm pretty good. Add one more, and then I think I'm in decent shape myself.
Awesome. So we're going to take the all-purpose glue. Cool thing about this glue is actually when you take off the cap, it comes with a little pin on the lid. So no more of drying out glue that you then have to stick a safety pin through. It's already built in. So you can kind of put your glue wherever you want. I'm going to put mine around where the top part of the ornament is, because that's going to give you the most grip to attach to. And then you just want to hold it in place for about 10 seconds. Make sure that there's enough to grip to. And then you just go on to the next piece.
This is also nice. We have them out of the packages here, but they have this little case as well that you can stick yours in, so it gives an extra protection from drying out as well.
Yeah. So Kieran, while we're gluing, what is your favorite holiday craft other than
That's a good
wreath
question.
making?
When I was a kid, we used to make those fleece blankets. So we would go.
The
I have
ones
two
with the little
sisters.
knots on the end.
Yes.
Love
So
that.
me and my two sisters and my mom would go to the craft store and we would pick out like 2 pieces of fabric that we like. And sometimes as a little kid, they don't even make any sense together, but that's part of the fun. And then come home and like watch a movie and make our blankets. And that's kind of like how we would like snuggle up on Christmas
that.
Day. So we would make those all the time. I think my parents probably still have plenty of those at their house.
That's so fun.
So what
I
about you?
definitely have one. My dog sleeps on it. He loves it. Those are definitely a great holiday craft. I love, honestly, I said other than wreath making, but the fun, I always have a good memory of this because my mom, my entire life, has always made her wreaths from scratch using, you know, various pieces from the craft store. So I've always enjoyed kind of making my own. For a long time, I didn't actually realize you could buy wreaths already made. I know there's a ton of great selections, but I've always found it really enjoyable to make your own because I've seen someone do it my whole life. So as we've kind of glued down this base here, you'll see we have like some bigger ornaments. So now the cool thing, because of the Krazy Glue and how fast it dries, you're just going to start grabbing your medium and your small ornaments and start piecing them together. You can either place everything and then glue, or if you're feeling confident, which I'll probably do half and half, you just go right in with that glue and get it started. So you know, grab whatever you want, the pine cones, the sprigs. I typically start with balls. Karen, I don't know what you're going to start with. Are you going to do balls or sprigs?
I think I'm going to start with sprigs and then fill in with some of the balls here.
Love that.
Which is always fun.
And then you just keep going until you feel like it's full.
Hey guys, there was a question in the chat about the top of the wreath. Where is that in relation to the?
So this is the top. Yeah. Sorry, you guys are upside down. Which actually, I could probably flip mine so that you guys can see it flip, and I'll just go backwards. We can do this.
Yeah. You can kind of decide wherever, and honestly, if you decide that something looks better on the top versus the bottom, you can, before you hang it up on your door or anything like that, you can always switch the way that you want it to look as well.
Totally.
Sprigs.
And I know some people will go ahead and like add a ribbon to hang their wreath from. On my door, I just use a ring hook. So the hook will go kind of through the center. So again, that's, you know, personal preference on if you want to tie a bow on it to hook it on, or, you know, just kind of use a bigger door hook.
Are you doing anything fun this holiday season, Karen?
I am doing a lot of fun things. I have a new nephew. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can relate to having a new, you know, nephew, grandchild. My mom is so excited because we have a grandchild. So Christmas is essentially all about him this year. He's getting everything and then some.
Santa put him on the nice list.
Yes, and his Auntie Cam put him on the nice list for sure. But we're really excited. What about you, Karen?
I have a lot of like my friend holiday stuff coming up. I just did Secret Santa last night with all my girlfriends.
Love
and
that.
then my whole family is going to get together and do our thing for Christmas Day, like all the fun normal stuff. And then we have a bunch of people coming over on Christmas Eve for a party as well. So that will be lots of fun to see
So fun.
all of the friends who also do not have extended family in our city.
That's so
It'll be
fun. Yeah, I think for the next few years, it's going to be a fun kid Christmas all over again with my little sweet nephew. Have you watched any Christmas movies yet?
I have. I started with The Holiday.
The classic.
And I
love The Holiday.
I do have plans to watch Home Alone tonight, which is my personal favorite. So
Amazing.
I'm excited for that.
We have watched The Santa Claus because that is my fiance's favorite. But I love Christmas with the Cranks, and that's an unpopular opinion. anybody else who loves Christmas with the cranks, you're not alone, because apparently not everybody loves it. I love it.
I love all the cheesy Christmas specials too.
Yes.
My dad used to always make fun of me because my favorite thing to watch in the whole world when I was a kid was Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, and I still know all the words to all the songs. He's like, "Why would you watch that?" I'm like, "It's so good. Why wouldn't I?"
Of course, you have to.
So, do you have any holiday traditions?
A ton. My mom always makes a roast on Christmas Eve. We used to go see my grandparents, Christmas before that, Christmas Day when they were still with us. And then we also do an extended family holiday gathering, which is a lot of fun. It's, all my aunts and uncles and like 19 cousins. So it's always, it's always really loud, but really fun. And it's always great to see everybody. We do a white elephant, kind of a redneck gift game, if you will.
Love that.
So it's a lot of fun.
I take pride in my white elephant gifts personally. So
I love a white elephant.
me too. When I was in college, we did one where it was like you can't buy anything. It was
You have to make
you
it.
have to either make it or like acquire / find it. So I would just like go out into our shed and grab something and call it a day, and it was always a lot of fun. So I think
funny.
I brought that up this year from my friends, and I was shut down. But
Maybe next year.
maybe next year we'll do
There's always more time.
a little bit of a just grab something that you could find holiday gift exchange.
That's making me think. My uncle actually did that one year for the gift game when my mom was hosting Christmas at our house with our extended family. He went around my mom's bathroom and bedroom and just gathered her random items and put it in a bag.
That's funny.
So the people were opening bags of her night cream and
I'm sure she really loved
toothbrush.
She was probably really, really excited.
Every family's got to have a crazy uncle.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we're just going to continue to layer. And the fun thing is you just keep placing until it feels right. And then also it depends on your style. If you're a maximalist like me and Kieran, or if you want something a little bit more minimal and clean using, ingredients that are pretty similar. There's just so many different options. I think that's the most fun, is that everybody will make something different. But we're just gonna keep on layering.
Love it. Yeah, I think the more the merrier on the wreath personally. But I've seen some really nice ones that don't have as much.
I can respect and appreciate a minimal vibe,
Yes.
even though it's not my vibe.
My vibe, not minimal. But
I am a maximalist through and through.
I appreciate what it's about.
Totally.
At the end of the day.
Hey guys, we had two questions in the chat for you. One's about how you're gluing it to the wreath, whether you're gluing it to the branches or like an internal wire. And the second question is Krazy Glue versus a hot glue gun and kind of pros and cons to that.
Awesome. So as far as where to glue it, one thing is if you attach it to metal, it's a really strong bond. So if you're able to get to the wire, that's awesome. Where I glued some of the bigger elements, I pushed pretty far in there between some of the fronds that are in here. And that really gives you a strong base. And then from there, I'm gluing some of the ornaments to other ornaments, and then I'm continuing to just glue them onto the greens. That's kind of the benefit of, gluing with Krazy Glue, is just it really does stick to anything. We obviously don't recommend like fabric usage, food of course, but it really is a strong bond. And I would say one of the pros and cons, to doing hot glue, one, with hot glue you might get those strings that you need to pull off, and then also I tend to always do this, is I will always put my hands on the hot glue and burn my fingers a little bit. But it really does come down to personal preference. Obviously, with us being really big fans of Krazy Glue and just, being stewards of the brand, we are always going to recommend that you use Krazy Glue. But really, it comes down to personal preference. Kieran, do you have anything to add?
It is nice that you have the option to do it like right onto the wire, like I have had some success like gluing them onto these like pieces of fake plant.
Mhm.
So you could say, but then they also stick really well together. So there's good versatility in the product, and what you're able to do with it and what it's able to stick to.
Yeah. That is a good question.
We're using a liquid formula today, but there's also gel formulas that are also nice for craft purposes. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room to work with to place things nicely. But both are great options. This is looking so full and so good. I love it.
Again, we're maximalists. And then at the end too, like obviously you guys can see I have this big bow right here and the strings, the little ribbon tails, I just have them kind of tucked right now, but at the end, like I would prefer to have them kind of draping over everything. That's how it'll be hung. But right now I just have them kind of curled out of the way. But I love something that's like very 3D, lots of textures. I think that's really fun, to have things almost like popping out at you. So that's where we're going.
Love it. We also have these really fun little stars
The stars are fun.
that might be what I'm most excited to put on my wreath. Not to pick a favorite, but I'm picking a favorite.
Yeah, Kiernan, that's a good point. We've obviously found these kind of the little stars. All the product today is from Michael's, but the stars were from the specialty ornaments section. And there's so many great ornaments that are, you know, the personalized, all the very like fun pop culture ones. So if you wanted to do something other than, you know, silver and gold, or you wanted to find a specialty ornament that you really like and make it the focal point, that's always a great option. There's so many that are in that, you know, the pretty pink and green and red theme. So yeah, there's so many ornaments like this one that are just a little fun and something special, where if we did a wreath with just this ornament, might be a lot, but having a few nice pops and pieces like this, I think are really fun for this type of a craft.
Yeah. I love like a good theme myself.
We
So
love themes.
I think there's a lot of really great options there with the amount of ornaments that are available.
And I don't know if you can see closely, but what I have too on this this bigger star where I'm gluing it in, I've kind of grabbed a little frond that's in here, if you will, and I've bent it to the ornament. And so I'm pushing them in together while they glue and adhere. And then that kind of keeps it staying in place. So you can see now, like after 10 seconds, that thing ain't going anywhere, which is great. But of course, if you're still in the layout stage, that's totally fine too. You can glue everything later or glue as you go. I think I've been doing a little of both.
Looks good.
And what is the best Christmas gift you ever got?
That is a great question because I just had my Secret Santa last night, and my best friend Lainey has gotten me for Secret Santa 2 years in a row. And last year she got me this really cool puzzle of the New York City Library. And I love to read and I love New York. And then this year she actually made me a print that is matchboxes from every city that I've been to this year. Which was like the
what a
most
thoughtful
kind,
gift.
thoughtful gift ever. And I'm like super sentimental. So
That's so sweet.
that meant a lot to me. I do think as a kid it was probably my Nintendo DS. But it's been a long time since I've used that. Maybe I'll go find that when I go home for Christmas.
Awesome.
What about you?
Ooh, there's a lot. Well, when I was a kid, my favorite toy, and I'm probably dating myself a little bit, is Baby Tumbles. It's a baby doll. She has a heavy head and a foam body, so she does forward rolls.
That's awesome.
Anybody that wants to know what that toy is, go look at her because she's so cute. That's all that I wanted when I was little, and I still have her somewhere at my parents' house on a shelf. And then as an adult, we kind of stopped doing a ton of Christmas gifts, and we switched to going on trips instead.
Cool.
So it's been fun. We've gone skiing, we've gone to the Keys. It's always just like a nice way to unplug and spend time with family.
Do you have any ski trips planned for?
I do not have any ski trips planned for this year yet. I would love to get one on the books, but I'm going to be planning a wedding, so gotta save
Takes
that
precedent
budget.
over going skiing, which I get.
But I do love to ski, and we're ready to get the, you know, we got to get the nephew grown enough so he can go skiing with us.
Gonna be down the slopes, get a little bear outfit for him.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
he had a
ready.
bear outfit last year,
Cute.
so we're very excited.
I love it.
All right, I'm getting pretty full
I
over
think I'm
here.
getting pretty full myself.
So
Trying to decide.
now that we have, I'm gonna clear some space of pieces that we haven't used. Sometimes it's good to do a little assessment of where we're at and then figure out where we want to add. I love, so one other little tip, obviously you can see that we have all these like little tiny pieces, but something we like to tell everybody, look at when you go in to Michael's, look at that section that has the faux florals, all the little dried sprigs like this. This piece was originally one giant piece and we've kind of dismantled it. So it's always good to like, you know, you can use things as they are, but if you want something to be a little bit more custom, a different size, like don't be afraid to rip it apart, glue it back together, piece it to what fits your needs.
Yeah, you're gonna make it work for your project.
Exactly. I love these little sprigs.
They're really cute.
This would probably be what I would make an entire wreath of. Is these fun little guys right
They
here.
look like they have icicles on them.
They do look like
Makes me want to go.
I think that's
a winter
why I like
wonderland. Add some more of these little tiny ones.
Yeah,
To
tiny
fill in
ones
some
are a great
space.
idea.
They're really cute.
Hey guys, there's two more questions in the chat. The first one is how do you make the ornament look, the placement look random and natural? And the second question is can you take the same approach to different wreaths like berry wreaths or country style straw, for example?
Totally, I think so. So the wreaths that we picked today already had some pine cones kind of woven in, which that kind of gives it a natural appearance. And then we've added all this glitter to make it very glam. But one of the ways to make it feel very natural is by, this is a good example cluster right here, is you can see that we've used all different sizes and all different textures, but still within that same palette. So that really helps to give it some balance instead of, going around and just doing a silver everywhere and then a gold everywhere. After a while, if you pile that up, it's going to look really great, but being able to cluster different things to create balance really helps. So one of the things too, if you look here at mine, we've got a big piece, a big element, and a big element. So again, similar to what I said at the top of the video, is this creates you a triangle. So as long as you're really balancing, everything needs to have an opposite, things like that, you're going to naturally create a nice flow. And then the good thing about something like this is you can keep adding until it feels right to you. Karen, I don't know if you would add anything because yours, I mean, you've used the same things. That's what's fun about crafts.
Yeah.
You've used the same things and yours looks totally different.
So I know I'm a little bit further away, but I use kind of the same technique of like a large item, and then kind of filled in. I think a lot of it is just like playing with it as you go and you'll kind of figure out what you like. The great thing about like a project like this is there's no wrong answers.
Yeah.
So if you like the way something looks, then you should keep going for it and keep building on that. And I also think that this is where like placing before you glue something down is a really great technique because you can kind of see what you like and where things should go. I tend to go rogue when I do stuff, which is great.
We have that in common.
But I think that like there's a huge benefit to just like being patient and kind of figuring out what you like and where things look nice to you, especially if it's something that's going to be in your home or for someone that you love.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, this is pretty cathartic too. It's just peaceful. So there's always no need to be in a rush.
Yeah.
So like Kieran said, like if you want to place everything, get it set, and then start gluing, like totally do that. If you want to place everything, walk away, come back the next day and glue it, like you can always sit on it and decide if it feels right. The other thing too, I would point out is I have been using, so the little top of the ornament right here, where you would put the hook, I have been putting my glue there and gluing in, whereas Kieran has been leaving the top of her ornament out and gluing the base. So both adhere great and both work, but it's also, it makes it two totally different.
Yeah, I kind of like the look of like there's ornaments in my thing, but I also look at Cameron's and I like the look of that. You just kind of have to play with it and decide what you like.
So I hope that answered the question. I'm loving these questions though. If anybody else has any questions, keep them coming. Otherwise, you're going to keep hearing about our awesome holiday anecdotes.
Is there anything funny that you did for the holidays when you were a kid?
Oh, funny. Well, one thing, my parents have done a ton of home movies and I love them for that. And so now we watch all of our home movies. And it's funny to hear my mom quote our home movies. And if my brother's doing something that's like, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, my mom in current day will say exactly what she said 25 years ago. So that's always like a
It's
funny.
kind of nice to know nothing's changed.
It is. That is a very comforting thing.
Yeah. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
See, now I'm like, have been just like doing whatever I want. I'm like, maybe I should see where I like things before I glue it down.
Yeah, and I'm really liking the way mine's looking now, but there's so many other things on the table that I want to add. So I'm forcing myself to stop and take stock of where things are. One other thing, so obviously we're decorating this flat, but something you can also consider is with the Krazy Glue, you know, drying as quickly as it does in that 10-second bond. Once you get it done on the front and you really like the way that it's looking, you can go ahead and put it on the hook that you want to use. And then you can start looking at like the bottom part and the top part and really decide if there's anything to add there. I kind of like where the green kind of hangs out. But it is always nice if you want to fill in right here with like some of the ornaments and things like that. Maybe some more of those glittery pine cones. I mean, there's just endless options of where you can put things.
Kind of forgot about the pine cones. Oh,
there's a whole chunk of pine cones over there.
Love it.
Ooh. I'm getting pretty close.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, so as you can see, I'm just kind of holding the ornament until I feel like it's secure. And you can kind of get a feeling like as soon as it's dry, it really will stop wiggling. And you know immediately once that bond has been achieved, which makes it pretty easy. And also it's pretty mess free. I don't have any glue on my fingers. I'm not messing up my manicure, which is nice. So that is another one of the benefits. I know someone had a question earlier about the benefit of using hot glue versus Krazy Glue. It is fairly mess free and you know, you get that instant dry, which is great. All right, I think I'm getting close.
Yeah. This is also a good one to do with somebody else too. Like if you have a friend or a roommate, mom, daughter, brother, sister, anybody really.
Yeah, this is definitely like a good girls' night, family night, you know, it's a fun craft to do as a group. So hopefully that's some inspiration for some new friend fun in the holidays.
Yeah. This is one of those giant twigs of our little icicle disco balls that we've been using. That we've all both broken down a little bit to add to ours.
Then too, you can always look. So I've been gluing as I've been going. So everything should be adhered. But one thing that always might happen is you might miss something. So you can always just give it a little tilt, make sure everything's adhered before you keep going. Looks like everything is stuck, which is good.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
There was a question about how to make the wreath look a little bit more bare, for lack of a better word, or less items on it. Do you have any tips surrounding that?
Make it look what, bigger with less items on it?
Like, yeah, bare, just not as many items, if you will.
Oh. So if we wanted less items, I would go with bigger pieces. So one thing that you'll always notice, you might notice this on people's Christmas trees too. So if someone has a really large Christmas tree and they have really small ornaments on it, you'll look at it and you're like, it's a beautiful tree. The ornaments are beautiful, but why is this balance off? So in order to kind of achieve like a less full but bigger look, I would pick bigger elements.
Mhm.
So instead of going minimal and doing a ton of these like little small guys that we have, I would stick with all big pieces, and that's going to keep it less full, but you'll still have some big enough, you know, the scale will be appropriate. And so it will look full without being overly full. Because even if you can imagine, if I were to take this away and some of these clusters away, I would still have these nice sprigs, this big bow, the big flower, and then these bigger ornaments. And that's really going to help it still look very designed and full without being maximalist, as I would describe mine. And two, you can look at Kiernan's as well. Like mine is way more full than Kiernan has hers right now. She has a lot more space in between. So that's another good example of just leaving more green. I clearly wanted to get rid of all the green and make
I love
this solid,
green.
but having the green is nice, and that helps space it out. And it still is full, but it isn't as maybe overwhelming to some as mine.
I love it.
Thank
Looks
you.
dense.
I love yours.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. And again, it's another thing where you just can play around with it and kind of decide what you think is nice.
Yeah.
But having that variety in size is a good way to like add some texture to it too.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm wrapped up here. What about you?
I think I'm getting there. I might add a little something up here, but
Nice.
looking good.
I'm excited. Maybe I want to move this sprig. That's the other benefit. So gluing the ornaments is helpful for me as I go, but I've been kind of just placing the sprigs in, and then I just made a decision that I wanted to move this one. So gluing the sprigs in last, or even just sticking them in because they do stay pretty well, is always a good option too, because then you have some flexibility of movement. But I'm gonna go back and glue all the sprigs.
And the sprigs are also nice if you want to like, these wreaths are a nice size, but if you want to make it look a little bit bigger, you can have that sticking out a little bit. It's going to add a lot of volume.
Yeah.
Good. And Cameron has a big bow in hers. I have a little bow, but the wired ribbon is great if you want to create those big bows as well. Hers looks so nice with the twirls in the end there.
Yeah, the ribbon section is my downfall. Every time I go into Michael's, I have way too much ribbon. This is one of my favorites though. I actually have this ribbon on my tree at home. I feel like it is very glittery. So if you are not a fan of glittery, maybe avoid. But if you like glitter, this is the perfect ribbon for you. I have it wrapped around my tree and it's amazing. But all of the wired ribbon is so fun because you really can like cut it short. You can bend it, make it curly. I love when it curls, but then you can also see people that make it like wavy, and that's always really nice. But yeah, adding a ribbon is a lot of fun. How I created this, I know there's a million tutorials online of how to make those amazing bows that people do. I just tied it in bunny ears 3 times and then clustered it together and glued it in. And that worked for me. One day I will figure out how all the people who are amazing at ribbon bows are doing it, but tying bunny ears, 3 sets of bunny ears worked to get this ribbon. And then you just bend it because of the wire.
You fluff it up a little bit.
Exactly. Any other questions coming through? I think we're about wrapped up.
There was one more question surrounding the ornaments and the massive assortment or selection that you have. So any ideas about maybe buying just 1 or 2 sets of ornaments and just the different ways to dress them, if you will?
So one of the sets of ornaments that we bought, so this was a set and this was a set, but everything in this bowl actually, and I'll do a little close up, this all came in one long tube. So if you wanted to, save some cost and stick with one type, this has a bunch of variety in shapes and sizes. And then also has some of the glitter, some of the detail, some of the shiny, some of the matte. So I would say going with one set that has either varying colors or varying sizes within one pack is a great start. And then otherwise, I mean, these silver balls right here came in one set. So it was 3 of the shinies and 3 of the mattes. So obviously that's going to give you some variety too. So I think if you want to, like, obviously the theme here is maximalism. So we wanted to really show you like what you can do with a bunch of different products. But if you wanted to keep it very simple, I would say either look for the same shape with multiple colors or look for multiple colors and multiple sizes. But you really can get away with doing, you know, a smaller pack. Karen, I don't know if you have any tips too.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. The multi-pack of, and they also, I think, sell some that have like the other fun shapes in them too. So if you want to add a different kind of texture there as well. So you don't feel like you're limited by like having to buy like just one box of these little ones and one box of a larger one. There's a lot of variety. And as you walk through the aisles, you'll be able to kind of see what you prefer.
Well, and two, the other call out. So I took these all off frame, but everything here, all of these were on one. This was on one little stem from that floral section. So that's why we say, like, don't sleep on that floral section. There's a lot of great products, but so you can see, I mean, this is still 5 pieces and I've already used 3 other pieces that came from the same stem. So that's another good option. If you like the florals and you like kind of that texture that it adds, you can grab one bunch of this kind of stuff and one little set of ornaments. I think in this bowl right here, these were a set, I believe 6 or 8 ornaments, all with like different patterns. So you could either get away with doing something like that paired with one floral, or, you know, this set of pine cones, that's about 2 sets of pine cone bags. And then this, all the large ones, was 1 set of pine cones. So really it's just about picking either some big pieces or some little pieces, but you really can get a lot of bang for your buck when you go with the sets.
Some good variety in one spot.
Always.
That's
a great question though.
I like that question.
Very cool. I think we can flip to the other screen format since we are done with the craft. So we'll just do a quick show here. So obviously you can see mine is decked, and then Kieran has a lot more green. So 2 very different styles, both beautiful. If I don't pat ourselves on the back a little bit. But that's the fun part. Like we said at the top of the call, we use the exact same stuff and we have 2 totally different outcomes. So that's what makes this a really fun holiday craft, a fun way to get together with friends and family. So anything you want to add while we close out?
Nothing, just that this is a lot of fun and you should all do it. Really. We enjoyed ourselves getting to just chit chat and make this. So very easy, very fun. And you really get to make it your own, which is also really nice. So I love the neutrals, but I think my next one's gonna be super colorful. So
yeah, I think we're ready for color next. If anybody wants a round 2, let's try it with color. But thank you guys so much for being here, and I hope you all have a crazy holiday. Wish you all the best.
Bye everyone. Thank you.